Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. Dasturi ya Sidi, Madad ya Sultan. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. There's truly no strength and no power except for Allah. We're at the Healing Heart Sufi Dargah, and this is the day that we're actually starting to break down the place because we've been giving an eviction order from our quote-unquote Muslim landlord. So I won't elaborate on that too much, but the situation in America is just really pathetic, and I hope to address that in the near future. And this is a prime example of maybe a catalyst for being able to address that more properly. That everybody's scared to death of the term Sufi because it connotates spirituality and, lightheartedness and goodness that nobody wants Islam portrayed as, whereas these Islamic centers and organizations in America, which I contend is run mostly by people that have been recruited overseas and are assets of intelligence agencies that enable these people to get U.S. citizenship, and then they're recruited into positions of the imam for this mosque or the director for this Islamic organization. And those organizations are promoted and supported heavily, whereas a Sufi organization is shunned, and the term Sufi itself is degraded so much in this country that everybody's fearful of saying it or having anybody think that they're spiritually inclined at all, for fear that their funding will dry up. Well, I got news for you. You got to stop worrying about your funding and start worrying about Allah, because Allah's punishment's going to be coming on America very soon, and it's going to be coming with a vengeance because the corruption is just rampant, and it is probably nowhere better illustrated than the court case that evicted us and the landlord who evicted us. And you can read about that court case in the Norwich, Connecticut court over there, and see for yourself just how all the relevant evidence was completely ignored, and how innuendo and opinion took over, and outright defamation of character in the judge's decision. Coming, I mind you, on the heels of the third Tuesday of the month. The order came from the judge that Wednesday following the third Tuesday of the month. And any of you are understanding Masonic groups, their annual or their monthly meetings are on the third Tuesday of the month. So this judge, in my opinion, got walking orders and was told to get rid of us, which is no surprise. Let me take down a little bit of a tour, and hopefully you can see a little bit, because our lights are out, because every time we turn on our lights, our electric gets stolen, which is part of the manner in which we were forced out of here. We have a nice bathroom back here that you can't see because it's so incredibly dark, but take my word for it. Here we had candles on top of our lovely hutch, and all this work, the painting, the walls, the work that you see, of course, there with the Allah Muhammad, and with the carpets laid down and the curtains placed in the windows, and again curtains here. That front room is actually the food pantry that we were serving. We had at one time 50,000 meals in boxes that we were trying to distribute, and ended up giving away a lot of that because we were out of time. And then also, as you can see in that food pantry there, it was absolutely covered with mold, and the guy could never rent this space. So he gave it to us, I believe, with the intention of fixing it up. And then as soon as we fixed it up, he knew he could rent it for $800. And then it became a battle for him to try to get the space. So through lies and deceit, he finally got us an eviction order. And then The town, of course, was on his side because they don't want somebody in here that's not going to pay their taxes. Here's the really cool thing. This is the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and it's up there. And when it comes down, the protection is down. It's gone. We're not going to remove the Allah Muhammad. Let the person who threw us out of here is claiming himself to be Muslim, and we must accept he's apparently saying La ilaha illallah, although I've never heard him say that, but and I've never seen him pray in this space. He comes in here and visits, and he never prays. But you know, we're, I guess, ordered to cover people's faults, but having been pursued by him so much publicly in a court of law, Shaitan's bowels is what I call it. I think it's appropriate to be able to speak openly about these things. But my wife and I were sitting here the other day. I was sitting in this chair, and I don't know if you can notice it or not, but every time a car passes in the one direction, you hear a simultaneous cracking sound. And there's a huge crack from an accident that happened when a car or truck hit the outside of the building. And instead of fixing it, which would have cost $40,000, the landlord took a settlement of $4,000 and never repaired the building. So the building has a huge, enormous crack. And I don't know if you can notice, if you run the camera this way along this wall, if you can notice that it arcs down on the right side here. So I don't wish any bad on anybody, but you know, sitting here and hearing that crack, and literally my wife and I were in here a few months ago, and it was incredibly loud. I mean, it sounded like there was something in the walls. It was so loud. So I am fearful of the people who are living downstairs in this building, and also this landlord, that this building is going to fall into the river down below if we are in fact forced to leave, and it looks like we are going to be forced to leave. You see us packing up right now. So inshallah, pray for us, and hopefully Allah has something better for us, which we trust that he does, and we trust that there's a wisdom behind this that is eluding us at the moment. But we'll try to be patient and see what Allah has in store for us.